Hi, my name is Jillian, and this is my career presentation for my 301 online class. The career that I've chosen is a sexual health and relationships educator. So basically, somebody who has this job is responsible for creating and implementing an educational program for both sexual health as well as healthy relationships, like basically how to have them. Somebody who works in this job usually works in either a school or a hospital or a government agency. Usually schools are like the most popular choice, whether it be public or private. Usually we see them a lot in college universities as well as high schools, but sometimes that people teach or like people work in this job at middle schools as well because it's important to teach them while they're young. The education you need for this job is it's preferred to have a bachelor's degree in either public health or health science, but you can also have a degree in either biology or physiology, something along those lines, like the real science part of it. You also need the American Association of Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists certificate, as well as 2 years in medical, like in a medical setting, whether that be paid or volunteer work. The skills you need for this job is being able to be open and honest with people, because it's important to be able to be open and honest when people are talking about such a sensitive subject like sex. I think that you also no, sorry, I don't think you also need to be able to plan and organize, because you are basically the person who's responsible for implementing the program, and how well you do is actually how well people will take the information in, as well as receive it and stuff like that, like, and implement it into their lives. The career plan the career path for this job is basically figure out what kind of people you want to serve, whether it be adults or high school kids, or if it's middle school kids, because if it's middle school kids, you probably you need to have more of like a credential, as well as like to teach in like a school. The employment outlook is actually really cool, because right now we're actually living in STD/STI epidemic. So I think that people like this are really like needed right now, because people are having more unprotected sex than ever, and like it's really important for people to understand, like, when they are participating in these risky behaviors, like it's hurting all of us, which is why we're having an epidemic. And then why I chose this career is I think that it's sex is not that big of a deal to talk about. I feel like you should be able to talk about sex, like, because sex is important and sex is natural, sex is regular. And I think that people have such a negative stigma talking about sex, because like sometimes the homes that they grew up in, nobody talked about sex, so they feel almost ashamed to talk about it. And if you're ashamed to talk about it, you won't ask about it. So I think that if sex has like a less negative stigma towards it, like talking about it, then it'll be a lot more, people will have more safe sex, because they'll ask questions and avoid risky behaviors, because they'll understand like what's basically going on and stuff like that, like catching diseases and stuff like that will lessen and decrease with people like sexual health and relationship educators. So yeah, that's basically my presentation. Thank you guys so much, and have a nice rest of your day.